Russia has warned USA and Israel, saying that if USA jumps into this war, Russia will support Palestine. We want peace, but if America defend Israel, then Russia will help Palestine, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said.
Вот. Ну и надо, наверное, посмотреть, как со свободой слова обстоят дела в Соединенных Штатах. Я вот слышал, что Такер Карлсон ушел из Fox News. Интересная новость. С чем она связана, остается только гадать. Но явно богатство взглядов в американской информационной среде пострадало.
Many countries in the world are undergoing wars that have claimed many lives, left others orphans, and caused injuries that cannot heal. Other than the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, another war between the Israelites and the Hamas tribe of Palestinians began on October 6th. The war began when the Palestinians wanted to get their own independent state on the borders of Israel, which Israel was forced to get out of for defense. The Israelites got a surprise attack from the Hamas, which led them to declare a war operation using the Iron Sword. The Palestinian military began the war in Gaza after firing a deadly barrage of rockets, which led the Israeli military to vacate and declare war. And this is why former USA President said this.
The Hamas terrorist invasion of Israeli territory, and the murder of Israeli soldiers today, and the brutal murder of citizens is an act of savagery that must and will be crushed. It has to be dealt with very powerfully. This is a time where the United States needs leadership. We don't have leadership. But Israel is at war, and the United States obviously is going to stick with Israel, and strongly.
Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. All right. And just to, sound the alarm, report on such of these news, because Jake is looking to get out of here, man. And the way that I look at it personally is because we know before this third world's woe goes nuclear, the MOTB has to be mandated. All right, so with that being said, hey, we're close, Lord willing. We got to be close, because this lines up with biblical prophecy. And this clip that I just played here by GMS News Amath. All right, as they mentioned how, and it's cold because for the most part, a lot of these nations like Russia mainly, they don't want to go to war, but again, it is biblical prophecy. All right. Get this real quick. I'm going to get this in Isaiah 42, verse 13. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. So, as I was saying, as much as a lot of these nations don't want to go to war, they want to avoid conflict. Nevertheless, it is all the will of Yahweh Bashem El Shai that a third world's war will take place, because that ushers in the deliverance of the elect, the second coming of Yahweh Shai, and establishing of the kingdom. So, hey, we're with the Lord's program, all right? Because, like I said, the main point, it said he shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. All right, because again, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, he's the one that's stirring up things, so to say, stirring up the pot. All right, putting the different thoughts in the minds of these different, leaders of these different nations, in leading them ultimately to that valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. But nevertheless, this is biblical prophecy. As I played, or the Russian foreign minister, not foreign minister, but the minister of defense, all right, coming out and saying how, hey, because on another note, I was seeing how, and that's why we got to be careful with certain information that we put out there and whatnot, because, oftentimes it could be satire, or it could be fake, and it was said speculation that Iran was directly involved, all right. Then it came out that supposedly they had nothing to do with, these attacks and whatnot. Now it's coming out again that that basically they're admitting to orchestrating these attacks. So whatever the case may be, nevertheless, the fact that again it's coming out again that Iran is I'm not going to say in fact, but like I said, rumor, said speculation, that Iran is directly involved. All right. They're the ones orchestrating a lot of, what's going on, as far as these attacks. So with that being said, long story short, Babylon is talking about getting involved. And with that being said, long story short, that's why I played this clip, because, supposedly Russia, the defense minister, coming out with if America gets involved, if Babylon gets involved, then Russia will, get involved as well. You see, and as we said time in and time out concerning this topic, all right, once Israel and Iran start going at it, eventually the big dogs are going to get drawn in, all right, Russia and America, which again ties into biblical prophecy, which I'm going to get here in Ezekiel. And like I said, with all that being said, because we know it's not going to go nuclear yet until that MOTB gets mandated. So the rate that things are moving, on another note, again, just, hey, continue to watch and pray. All right. That I believe the MOTB, it has to be close. We can't be too far out there, man. The MOTB, the mandation of the MOTB, it has to be close. Because Abaratazad, the Lord doesn't take his foot off of the gas pedal. When it comes to this whole situation with Israel and Hamas. All right. The Lord doesn't take his foot off the pedal, man. Because again, we're ready to go home. All right. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this in Ezekiel. Oh shoot, I'm in the wrong chapter. Bear with me. Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel chapter 38. I'll just start at verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Because although Russia, which there are nothing but Edomites, all right, they're just Russian Edomites living over there in that particular landmass of Magog, all right, which the original inhabitants were Japhet, all right. But again, nevertheless, they are the current inhabitants, people living in that vicinity. All right, the Russian Edomites. And that's why I said prophesy against him, because again, when it comes to this whole beast system, which is run by the top wicked elites of Esau, Edom, nevertheless they are Edomites. They're all Edomites, and the fact that no other nation is able to take this nation of people out of power except for his own people. All right. So with that being said, the Lord is going to use Esau to destroy himself, to bring himself down. All right. Real quick, I'm going to jump to Revelation 13 in verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So again, this whole beast system, which is, the top wicked elites of Esau, Edom, they run this whole thing. All right. And they're, so powerful that no other nation can come up against them except their own people. So that's why in verse 2 it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, because this beast system has started with the Greeks. All right, this leopard is going into the Greeks. All right, Alexander the Creep. All right, because as we often talk about how Esau, he's had 3 empires to perfect his blessing. All right, to perfect his wickedness, and it started with the Greeks. From there, the Romans. All right, and from there, America, Babylon. All right. It says, in his feet, which the feet represent the end of something, it says, whereas the feet of a bear. And basically, what is this going into? It's going into the Russians. All right, because again, this whole beast system, which started going back to the Greek Empire, which were Edomites. All right, and it's going to end with Russia, because again, Yahweh Shemashah is going to use them Russians mainly. All right. Russia is going to be a main tool in America's destruction. All right. And when you even go back to Russia, their logo, I believe it's a bear. So it's all spiritual. Going back to Ezekiel 38, because again, the Russians, they're not but Russian Edomites. So at the end of the day, the Lord, he's still against them, even though he's going to use them, but he's still against them. They're still Edomites. So in Ezekiel 38:4 again, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, all right, which is talking about those so-called Iranians, you see, as well as Ethiopia and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. All right. So, some of these names pretty much speak for themselves. A lot of these African nations, which we've been seeing that over the months, the BRICS, which is spearheaded mainly by Russia and China. But a lot of those African nations, all right, like I said, Gomer and all his bands. So Turkey and, all these nations are going to more and more do away with Babylon and more side with mainly with Russia. All right, because America's not the big bad bully on the block. All right, and basically, because Russia has been in the news in recent years, because basically, and this is why more and more nations are starting to side with Russia, as we're going to go on to read, because basically what all these other nations, because Russia's basically been calling America out, calling Babylon out on this bluff. All right, because again, America's not the big bad bully on the block anymore, and Russia has been, all the shit that Russia has been saying against Babylon. All these nations, they've been thinking it. It's just, again, Russia, all right, they've had the balls to say it, and that's that spirit that Yahweh Shemashah, he's putting back into them Russians, because they're not playing around, man. They're not playing games, and it's cold. Well, before I jump the gun, let me read on. This is the house of Togarmah. of the North Quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. So again, more and more of these nations are going to start joining with BRICS, Russia, right? It says, "Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." You see, and jump back up to verse 5, because like I said, one of the first nations that it mentions was Persia, all right, which are the so-called Iranians, which, like I've mentioned, is coming out again, all right, that they are basically orchestrating a lot of this, which, I mean, it just makes sense, because, I mean, those guys, Hamas and them, they're not all, let's just say they're not too bright to be, orchestrating these type of attacks and things of that nature. They obviously have to have some type of help from somewhere, from someone, all right. But again, nevertheless, it's coming out again that Iran or Persia is in fact orchestrating, basically, in league with these attacks that have been going on. So with that being said, like I said, long story short, all right, Babylon's talking about getting involved, and as I played the clip, all right, if Babylon gets involved, then Russia is saying they're going to get involved. All right, they're going to help. They're going to get involved. All right, Slakia, bear with me real quick. So yeah, with that being said, as we said time in and time out, pay attention to Israel, all right? Because once Israel and Iran start going at it, then the big dogs are going to get involved, which consists mainly of America and Russia, all right? Also get another one. Get another one. Because, Russia, they've been doing all type of drills and nuclear preparedness and things of that nature, right? And for the most part, a lot of these nations have been preparing their their citizens for nuclear fallout and things of that nature. All right. As a matter of fact, Russia just had another one of these, had one of those preparedness drills or whatever they call it, on October 3rd, which, I mean, everything, when you look at it retrospectively, everything is lining up perfectly. October 4th, you had the so-called, tests, emergency tests, alert tests or whatever. All right. And then the other day, this whole situation with Israel and Hamas, and, now there's talks of, because, now they got the death chance of America, because, the new thing right now is of an attack on American soil. So, of course, as always, we just have to wait and see. All right, the Iranians, they're chanting death to America. All right, so, now they're talking about an attack. So, of course, we just have to wait and see. But I'm going to go to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 13. Verse 17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them." And like mentioned with Gog and Magog, all right, Because again, with the Medes, you know, again, it's pretty much the same with the current inhabitants of that land today, which are the Russians. Because this is talking about the Russians, all right. And it's cold because you got the Persians and the Medes, which consist of the Persians and the Medes took down ancient Babylon, all right. And it's cold because the modern day Persians and the Medes, you know, again, they're going to be main tools used in taking down modern day Babylon. All right, the modern day Persians and the Medes being the Russians and the Iranians, you know, and like the scriptures say, no new thing under the sun. So, Isaiah 13:17 again, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So again, Yahweh Shema Shai, in the grand scheme of things, he's orchestrating all of this, stirring up all the minds of these different kings, these leaders, all right, and leading them to war, you know. But mainly, because like I mentioned, Russia is going to be a main tool by Yahweh Shema Shai in America's destruction, you know, and it's all biblical prophecy, like I mentioned with Ezekiel 38, man, all right. You know, once such and such start going at it, then it's going to draw all the big players, you know, into this war, which I'm going to get this and I'm going to close it out. In Revelation 17. Revelation 17, bear with me. Revelation 17:16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, thee shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Talking about, again, with America's allies, all right, you know, because eventually EU and NATO, they're going to say the hell with America. All of America's allies are eventually going to say the hell with America, all right. But it says, verse 17, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. All right, and we are coming into the fulfillment of you know, these major prophecies, man. Like I said, the Lord is moving all the chess pieces into place. All right, the Lord is forcing everyone to choose sides. These nations to choose sides. You know, because hey, quite frankly, the world is a stage, but it all eventually leads to prophecy playing out. You know, and I say that because, again, even when it goes back to, you know, looking into, let me choose my words carefully here, but with a lot of the stuff that's going on in Israel, all right, you know, I'll just say a lot of things are being staged, all right, you know, because, again, the world is a stage, man, you know, but it's all for the fulfillment of prophecy. So ultimately, Yahweh Shema Shai is orchestrating all this, moving everything into place for the fulfillment of his will. You know, so with that being said, man, hey, Lord willing, like I said before, pray that the Lord doesn't take his foot off this thing, man, whether it's orchestrated or not. It's not to say that people aren't really losing their lives, but still, you know, Yahweh Ratazah, you know, the Lord doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal on this. You know, the MO2B's got to be right around the corner. The mandation of it has got to be right around the corner. You know, and Lord willing, we're going to be out of here in no time. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. Praises to you, Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully, elect.